I can't recall if I was watching the pregame or if it was the news shortly after. I'm guessing many of you were closer to it. Maybe even living in the Bay Area when it happened and you felt it. I'm referring to the earthquake during the 1989 World Series. I know probably for the majority of you, when you think earthquakes, your mind goes to the 1994 Northridge quake. But I'm from the East Coast, and that one wasn't during any nationally televised sporting events, at least that I was watching. Now, I've experienced a handful of smaller quakes in my time in Los Angeles. While none of them compare to 94 or 89, it's certainly a peculiar feeling when the ground begins to shake. You might be wondering why we're talking earthquakes this early in Revelation. Later on in chapter 16, we'll read of the greatest earthquake the earth has or will ever experience. But that's still far off in the distance. There's no earthquake in the church in Philadelphia, is there? Well, the answer is no, there's not. But there was. About 50 years prior to John's apocalypse, it's worth remembering that the churches referenced in Revelation are in modern-day Turkey. As we know from the earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria in February of 2023, earthquakes in that region are particularly common and dangerous. In case you've forgotten the tragedy, the death toll for that quake is estimated at 55,000. It's a region that still needs our prayer and resources. Now, when you think of earthquakes impacting cities in ancient eras, there's good news and bad. Like on the plus side, back then populations were nowhere near as large, so death tolls were naturally lower. Additionally, physical infrastructures weren't quite as extensive as today, so there wasn't as much to disrupt. On the other hand, nobody was building with earthquake safety measures in mind, and there was no insurance company to cut a check to rebuild. Now, in this rare case, in a calculated demonstration of goodwill, Caesar issued a grant to have the entire city rebuilt. Now, imagine being in one of these ancient cities filled with massive stone temples as Philadelphia was. In fact, Philadelphia was so filled with gods and temples to the gods that some called it Little Athens. Now, if you're curious, you can Google the ancient city of Philadelphia and see images of the ruins there. Then read Revelation 3:12. The one who is victorious, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God, and I will also write on them my new name. Being inside a city, much less a temple, was not a safe space to be when things began to shake. You don't want to be under one of those giant stone pillars as they came down, or under the roof they were designed to uphold. Strabo, a Greek historian and philosopher who died in 24 AD, suggested that many residents of the city of Philadelphia chose to live outside of its huts in the open country rather than chance being inside when things begin to move. The message Jesus is giving to the church in Philadelphia is that I will make you into pillars that can withstand any shake and uphold any weight. Whereas the Philadelphians lived with the constant dread and sense of impermanence, the vision Jesus offered was one of stability and permanence brought about by God and found in his presence. What strikes me most in all of this message is that very initiative. Back to verse 11, for those of us who hold on, Jesus will make us a pillar, not in just any old building, but in the temple. He makes us pillars of strength, makes pillars out of the weak. Pillars are not larger than life personalities with huge followings and incredible charisma. The pillars in his temple are crafted by his hands from those who cling to him and endure. May it be said of us, have a blessed week.